Addiction is the epidemic of our generation. Every 4 minutes, people are overdosing in the U.S. Drugs and alcohol are tearing our families apart. The only way to combat addiction is through proper treatment and customized care. As people are slipping into the grips of addiction, nationwide Banyan Treatment Center facilities stand as the leader in providing growth through recovery. Addiction does not discriminate. Do not let yourself or someone you know become another devastating statistic. Call now, 855-6-BANYAN.
I'm just going to ask God simply to never ask me to speak again behind Lisa and these other distinguished speakers. I don't know how this happened, honestly. Work on the agenda, please. As well, I did not anticipate quite as large an audience. Apparently this is a mandatory meeting. Is that why so many of you are here? Well, good evening. My name is Ken Holmberg, and some days I'm happy about that, and other days maybe not so. I have 2 children, both adults now, who are opioid addicts. So I want you all to meet a Hall of Fame parent. That's me. I'm batting 1,000 in any industry. That would be worth a lot of money. 2 children, both of them opioid addicts. Let me tell you, there is an opioid crisis in my house, and it's been so for about 20 years. I'm going to echo to you some things that you've already heard. I'm going to say some things that may offend you. For that, I apologize. I'm going to say some things that I hope will make you think. I'm not going to apologize for that in the least. I'm going to try to work from my script so that you all will not be here till breakfast time. I really don't know what to say. What's happening now? What should we do? What can we do? Is she alive? What's this money for? Damn, this is crazy. My God, why? I've asked these unanswered questions too many times that I've lost count. Many times I've found myself crying uncontrollably in the comforts of my own living room. How many other parents can share that thought with you? As a family, we've wondered how this can be so impacting. Neither of us as parents ever used drugs. Never wanted to, never found the occasions perhaps. Over the last 20 years, we as a family have suffered from substance use disorder. We have maneuvered through the judicial system, we've experienced the attitudes of the medical profession, and we've suffered within the waiting rooms of many jails. When our government recognizes there's an epidemic, let me tell you, you know we've got a crisis. The time has come for change. Actions cannot wait any longer. One of my compadres here recited some statistics that are staggering, and sadly, they're not getting any better. Both the addicts and our current laws are making matters worse. Which side of that equation are you on? I know the pain of when a child steals money or assets from family just to feed a medical condition. I've watched her future be destroyed by a mental health issue. I've testified before presiding judges whose hands were tied by current incarceration guidelines. In spite of much effort and powerful desires, the in-jail rehabilitation programs remain woefully ineffective. Incarceration will not rehabilitate the offender or treat his disease, and saddling the offender with a felony constrains their future. Felons have unsurmountable mountains to gainful employment. Felons fail among the undesired, fall among the undesired regardless of their skills or education. Felony records remove their civil rights. I have personally spent thousands of dollars directly as a result of my children's addiction. And sadly, the situation is largely unchanged. My children's addiction contributes largely to the end of a marriage for me. Addictions affect families financially, emotionally, and other less obvious ways. As we draw near to the holiday season, I'm reminded that often the addicts are unwelcome in family and friends' homes. This adds additional stress to an already stressful time. I have engaged the power brokers in Henrico, Chesterfield, Westmoreland, and Hanover counties of Virginia, and now the city of Los Angeles, California. Most of my desires have fallen upon deaf ears. I trust that many of you share my frustrations. If you don't, pay attention, because substance use disorder knows no borders or boundaries. Pray that a substance abuse disorder doesn't strike you personally. While I don't claim to have the answers, I do promise to have the energy, the resources, and the deepest desire to effect change. Start with your doctor, your minister, your neighbor, your local law enforcement, your state and federal legislators, and even yourself. Commit them and yourself to an alertness like never before. Stop being an enabler. For me, that has been my biggest challenge. Yes, I love my children in spite of their actions. Their ages are 39 and 40. Yet I often treat them like they are 9 and 10, aid them in unnecessary ways. Stop accepting their excuses for their failure to act responsibly. Stop believing their lies. Trust and verify every statement and every action. This will feel unfair for a bit, but remember, you may be saving their life. Why do our laws spin offenders like a tennis shoe in a clothes dryer? Once in a dryer or in the, quote, system, it is noisy, frightening, and very unpredictable. I have never seen a judge, quote, do the predictable. When we expected harsh treatment, we got leniency. When we expected understanding, we got the book. And I don't mean the good book. Some of you may have experienced that yourselves. Why do many of our offenses or failure to pay fines result in a driver's license suspension? Once in a spinning dryer, getting out is difficult for even smart, clear-thinking adults. It is extremely difficult for an individual suffering with substance use disorder. Imagine how difficult it must be for an addict with an undiagnosed impairment. I can't legally drive. If I can't legally drive, I probably can't get to my minimum wage job. Public transportation, if available, isn't free. And neither is Uber, for that matter. That needs to be fixed. Not making those free, but dealing with this relationship between offenses and driver's licenses. Ladies and gentlemen, there are no easy answers, but unless you and your family are ready to feel the pain of this national crisis, I solicit you to get involved. Talk openly about your experiences and ideas, direct your energy, and for God's sake, go hug an addict. Thank you.